I got asked to do a little gameplay video of my JS13K entry just for people that maybe don't have a PC to play it, but still wanted to see what it was like. So I'm just going to jump in here and play through, but I figured also it's a good opportunity to do a little developer commentary. So play through it, but then give my thoughts on certain things and the development of the game. So we jump right into the elevator here. We have our point light. One of the big challenges of the game was the point light itself, not hard. The shadows, which you can see being cast out by, hitting the outside of the elevator and casting these shadows on point lights and WebGL, there's some challenges there over something like OpenGL, where it's a little more straightforward. Eventually, obviously, I figured it out because here it is. You can read more about that in my post-mortem I wrote up. I'll link that in the description of the YouTube video. But we start in the elevator here, nice and lit up, and then it opens to this dark hallway. And that's like the first sort of design choice of the game of like giving you this sort of creepy atmosphere. You're in this nice lit up elevator, and then it opens and there's just this dark hallway. And you sort of have no choice but to go out into it. The other thing I'll call out here is the noise of the elevator door, which was quite difficult to synthesize because obviously you can't use a real elevator door sample. You have to make the sound effects. And an elevator door just it has sliding sounds with clunks, and then there's the bell sound of you're at your floor, and sort of trying to synthesize all of that and make it fit together properly, especially then with the animation of the doors, not very easy. We'll hear it again here when I step far enough away from the elevator to trigger the doors closing behind you and trapping you on the floor. And here we are. So now you can use your flashlight. And we've started with the room 1311 key. This is the first room we have to go to, and the first key you get is chosen at random. So every time you play the game, it's going to be a little bit different. The enemy doesn't spawn in until you have found your first key. So we've started with this one, so the enemy's not here yet, but once we pick up our first key, the enemy will spawn in. So before we go do that, I'll talk a little bit about also the flashlight here. It's pretty standard spotlight, just that points out of the camera. It also is attenuated, just like the spotlight, meaning that its brightness trails off the farther you get away from it. Like when we saw the elevator door here open, it was lighting up this first wall here a bit, but that light didn't travel all the way down. It got dimmer as you got farther away. And you can see the flashlight's the same way. It's not lighting up the opposite wall. It's trailing off into the distance and getting darker and darker. That also makes for a nice effect up close here. You can see that I'm sort of cutting off extra brightness at 1, the pure brightness in the center here. And then because the spotlight is actually yellow, it's creating this sort of a yellow ring, and then it fades out. And that's because the spotlight is so bright in the center that it's actually shifted towards white once I cut that brightness off at 1. So you kind of get this white ring followed by a yellow ring, and then it gets dimmer. It's not a full realistic flashlight pattern, but it's a little something extra. It looks pretty good. So let's go to our first room here. And once we grab our first key here, it'll spawn in the enemy. So our first key is to room 1303. Grab that. And we can hear the enemy is out there. And he's out in that center hallway. Here he comes. So he's coming back this way, and I'm going to cut by him over here and go get my next key. Okay, next key is 1310. There he goes. He was far enough away, luckily, that he didn't see me, but I need to get over there. So this door, you can see I'm actually able to open it even though I haven't gotten the key yet. And that's because some doors are unlocked from the start, and that's because they have health packs in them. So I could actually use this health pack to refill my health. I haven't taken any damage yet though, so no reason to do that yet, but there are health packs in the game so that if you do ever get caught by the enemy and take damage, you can refill your health. These health packs, he just walked by, tend to be in the rooms in this center hallway here. And that's because the keys are purposely spread out so that you have to traverse the level in order to get them. I don't want the keys to be fully random, because if they were, there would be a good chance that they could all be just each room right next to each other, right? You wouldn't have to travel very far, and then you might not interact with the enemy. So when the keys are placed, there is a 75% chance that the next key will be as far away as possible from the one you just picked up. So if you're in the corner, if you're in one corner of the room and you grab a key there, the next key, there's a 75% chance that's going to be the opposite corner. It's going to be in the room as far away as possible. That way, you as the player, you have to traverse the whole level, and there's a greater chance of you interacting with the enemy. But there's a 25% chance that it'll just be placed in a random room. So that's sort of the placement. Most of the time, the keys will just be as far away as possible, but sometimes they'll just be random. And because there's a chance of it swapping between the two, it's a pretty good mix of making the player traverse long distances to avoid the enemy, while also making every playthrough unique and you don't know what's going to happen. So I got a 1307 key. He just walked by. Oh, he's going. Oh, and he's coming again. I need to go in that center hallway, and that's where he's. Oh, he just went to the far hallway. I can see the light over there. Oh, and he saw me. So now I need to find a hiding spot, or I might be able to just outrun it. Depending on how many keys I've picked up and how many times I've escaped from him, his aggression level will be higher or lower. And that aggression level dictates a few things. For one, his movement speed. For two, how quickly he'll give up searching for me. So right now he's looking. Oh, and he caught me. So I'm taking damage. And now he's going to go spawn in the farthest, a far away point for me. Whatever point is farthest for me, he's going to spawn in at. And this is a good time for me to grab a health pack and refill my health. Close the door while he walks by. And there's 1307, the next room I need to go to. There's my next key, 1301. He's pretty far away, but that's where I need to go. Well, no, that's 1310. So here's the elevator. 1301's in this corner. There's the next key, room 1312. So you can see we got the 75% chance of it being a far away point, right? I'm in this corner, 1301. So there was a 75% chance that whatever key I pick up here is going to be 1312 because it's the opposite corner of the map, and that makes you have to traverse the whole map, which means now you have to go and dodge the enemy. Oh, there he was just coming around the corner. The other thing you probably noticed is I've been looking under the door for his light. That's, of course, a purposeful design choice of leaving this gap at the bottom of the doors so that as a player, you can hear the footsteps, but you never know for sure exactly where he's at. You know, you have a good idea based on the footsteps. But with that, I know he just walked by because I saw the light pass by. Now 1302. And again, we got the 75% chance because now we have to get all the way. We couldn't go all the way to 1301 because obviously we were already in room 1301. So of the available rooms left, 1302 was the farthest one away. So now I've got to go all the way over to this side. Go here. You just walk by again. Now room 1304. And you can hear the footsteps are much faster now. When he caught me and did damage to me, that actually caused his aggression to go back down. So he would have slowed down a little bit. But since then, I've picked up more keys. And with every key I pick up, his aggression goes back up. So the enemy's behavior is sort of dictated. He gets more and more aggressive the more keys you pick up and the more times you escape from him. But if he catches you and damages you, his aggression level goes down. It gets cut down to 40% of what it was. So it's a big cut if he catches you and damages you. And the idea behind that, of course, is to try to keep the game challenging if you're doing well. But if you get caught twice, its aggression is just going to go down to nothing almost, to where he's going to move really slowly again and kind of stay more away from you to give you a chance to go get a health pack and finish the game. Oh, he's right around the corner, and he saw me. Let's hide. And you can see his movement speed is much faster now, but if he catches me here and does damage, again, his aggression will be cut back down, and he'll do much less damage, or he'll move much slower. Well, he didn't catch me, though. That means his aggression's actually higher. So now he's really moving fast. Let's find our next key, room 1309. So he's over there. And he saw me again, but I've unlocked the door. Let's hide again. And he's gone. Oh, and we're at the end. So this is room 1313. When I grab this key, he's despawned because I'm at the end of the game. So the enemy's gone now. So let's see, I guess I can talk a little bit about the modeling of the room before I just finish the game. So all the modeling is done with this little sort of model scripting tool I wrote 3 years ago for my first 3D game for JS13K. The concept is that all of these actually start as cubes. Everything in the game is always a cube. But that cube's face can be made up of multiple triangles. Normally you just use 2 triangles to make a cube's face. And in fact, with the mirror here, that is true. But with the sink, it's made up of a lot more triangles. And that's because I'm going to dent it in here in the middle to form the sink indentation. So once I have a cube with that many triangles, I can then, run methods on these vertices. So what's used here is spherification. I'm able to sort of offset the vertice's position from a point based on a radius distance. And I just have these little helper functions that, spherify or cylindrify. You can see these are cylinders here, where and same with, say, the doorknobs. The toilet is also a cylinder that's then been stretched a little bit, and then in the middle of it just had its X and Z distances scaled in to pinch inwards. And so then you get the little pedestal and the gun going down. The shower curtain also it takes effectively the X position and then does a sine wave on that, and that alters the Z position of those vertices, and you get the curve. So all of these are just little functions that act on vertices, and everything is a cube. Even things that are round start as cubes and then get molded into different shapes based on how many vertices they have and what functions I run on them. I can make lots of different shapes with a relatively small amount of code. Certainly, there's no way I could have all of these models and all these vertices stored in the game and have enough room. But instead, if I have reusable blocks of code that can do certain things, I can do a reasonable degree of 3D modeling. So with that, let's go to the final room. So the lore of this game, which is in the description, is that you're invited to a party to celebrate the 13th anniversary of JS13K. And then you have to go to the 13th floor, and there's 13 rooms, and then the horror game ensues. But it turns out it really was a party for the JS13K 13th anniversary, because when you open this door, you've got your birthday cake with the 13 on it, and the little candle is casting the shadow of the 13 onto the wall. So when you come up close, you see this little make-a-wish to blow out the candle through the cake. And your wish is to escape, of course. So when I do this, you'll hear a little blow out the candle sound effect, and then you will hear the elevator open. And also, of course, this light will then go out. And that's it. That's the game. So walk here to the end, and that'll trigger effectively, it's just a little "you win" text, and the game's over. And that's it. Well, hope you enjoyed. If you haven't tried the game, I kind of just spoiled everything, but it's still pretty fun to go through and hide from the enemy and everything. So give it a try if you haven't, and thanks for checking it out.